we're still seeing that. And sorry to go on. This is a good memo. I think it's a good question
great question, yeah.
And a good topic to talk about because it's so important for what we're trying to achieve as well. Because we love grassroots and trying to encourage the next generation to come through. But you've always got to be in the best equipment, and that costs money. So my advice, which is a bit of a segue to this, is like I had sponsors pay. I did not come from a wealthy family. My mum she works at Woolworths now. My dad was a truck driver, and I was being driven around Adelaide at 10 years old with a 5-year plan and a sponsorship resume. And I had Pepsi sponsored me through go-karting. I pitched every company.
How does Shannon feel about
Adelaide. That? Yeah, I know. Now she's at Coke. But I was going out and asking for $500 from every single company I could in Adelaide. And we were getting $15,000 a year in sponsorship, which paid for my karting. So you can get out there. You've just got to be willing to put yourself out there and go into brands. And what happens is if you're a kid listening, don't be afraid to go in and ask someone for support, but have a plan of what you want to achieve in your career. You're not going to be young. Have your sponsorship proposal, ask for a very realistic amount and try and build a relationship with brands. And then sometimes you'll get lucky where that brand introduces you to another brand that will give you more money. And that's how I paid for Formula Ford. It was all through sponsorship. And don't ever be afraid to ask because motorsport is not cheap. And to do it properly, the onus is on you effectively because anyone can raise the money. You've just got to have the right attitude and work ethic. And I think we see a few guys in Supercars, which I give a lot of credit to, that Todd Hazelwood's one of those, Jack LeBrock's one of those. And anyone can question their ability, but they deserve to be there over anyone else because they worked harder. They got the money in. And of course, they might have had to raise the funds. But
Todd and his family used to go and do sausage seals every weekend.
Yeah.
To help fund what he was doing. Like, yeah, and that's it. It's hard work. But the other point, it's relationships. And I think my advice would be if someone's willing to support you and believes in you, value that relationship because, you know, the best partners that I have and have had in the past have always been and still talk to them today. They've always been really good relationships. And, you know, there's a million drivers out there, but if someone sees something special in you or they like you, you know, value that because it's rare.
It is 100% rare.
It's rare and, you know, you really need to value that. So
also, like sponsors don't always see a return on the investment. So know that if someone's investing in you, it often is for the right reasons. Like they're doing it because they want to see a young kid do well and they want to back them because they might have had something in their life happen and they're now in a position where they can help someone. So motorsport's expensive. Super 2 is not on its own.
No, it's not.
The repairs of the cars is expensive and things like that. But, you know, I just say it's not impossible. It sounds impossible, but, you know, when I went and raced in Europe, I did British Formula 3, British Formula Ford, and never paid for a single lap in a car on my own. It was all through sponsors and it was just through asking people for support. And then you build relationships. Someone might say, sorry, mate, I can't help you, but here's a number of someone else that might be able to. And you go pick the phone up. But yeah, try and put yourself in the best car all the time. Otherwise you look like a peanut and that costs money.
And that's the worst thing because as a kid, you're always like, I can make the difference.
I know, yeah.
Because as a driver,
I just break deeper.
You always believe in yourself, right? That's why you're there asking for sponsors and putting yourself out there and racing, right? So you always think, and I've made that fatal mistake a few times where you're like, nah, you know what? Like, I know the car's not great. No one else ever done well in it, but maybe I will.
Yeah.
And then you're like, no.
Yeah, no, sorry.
It's not going to happen.
Exactly. Shane Van Gisbergen still qualified on the back row at Barbagallo once.
Yeah, there you go.
I remember that. I'm like, he can wheel a car. All right. Do a couple more.
Hey, Scotty.